Grab the controller, sit your ass in the sofa. It's game time, baby. Crying Gamer. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Crying Gamer, the ambassador of Netflix. You hear that, Netflix? Hear that? Send me some dinero. Anyway, I'm just joking though, but I really do love Netflix. Really enjoy watching all the shows and the movies on Netflix. But today we're going to talk about Narcos. Narcos. I love a mobster movie, a gangster movie. Always have. That and horror movies are my favorite. So we're going to talk about Narcos and if it was done well. We all know that this is a chronological documentary on the life of Pablo Escobar from the rise to the fall of Escobar, dealing with cocaine and corruption and violence. And this has it in all spades. They hold no holds. This is no holds bar. So if you get a little funny in the stomach watching violence, don't watch this. I mean, because there's all levels of violence and there's rape and all kinds of, you know what I'm saying? So be prepared to enter the world of corruption and violence. When you watch this, they held nothing back. So anyway, who is Pablo Escobar? Pablo Escobar is one of the world's most infamous criminals, businessmen, the second richest, I believe, at the time. I think his net worth was what, 25 billion in the 80s. Right behind, I think Pablo Escobar was behind Fuentes. I forgot the first name. There was another guy, something called Fuentes or something, that was allegedly richer than him at that time as well, doing drugs as well. But that ain't about Fuentes. It's about Escobar. So that's who Escobar was, man. He rose from the top with that little baby powder called cocaine and made him one of the richest, most infamous men in the world. But not only was he a drug dealer, but he was known as a terrorist as well, based on some actions that he's done with the inability to control his emotion and to think out the plan before doing things, which I believe was the downfall of Pablo Escobar. You know, you don't blow up an airliner and you don't just do a random bomb next to the embassy, killing innocent babies and children. And yeah, that was a mistake. Let's talk about the acting of Wagner Muro, who played Pablo Escobar, but I believe Wagner is from Brazil. He did a bang job. It was almost like me watching, I got the feeling watching him and I was watching Al Pacino play Scarface. That I was just like, you know, Scarface was Scarface. He's like, this is real! You know, and I'm like, this is some good acting on Al Pacino's part. And that's what I got from Wagner Muro. He actually did a really good job of capturing the emotion and the lack of emotion on Pablo in this series. Very well acted, very well acted. From everybody actually played their roles very well. The DEA agents also did their role very well. You see them come in like little innocent little babies and then become almost corrupted themselves. But their corruption was necessary because their corruption is what led to the capture or the death of Pablo Escobar. They could not play by the rules. You can't play by the rules when dealing with a man of legend, and of power and of money like a Pablo Escobar, that's ruthless as he was. You can't deal with that. So anyway, DEA agents end up, infiltrating, bringing down the empire, bringing down the drug empire. They end up making allegiances with employing, curious characters, which they wouldn't necessarily work with, but they worked with them in order to take down Pablo. So they used people that had a common goal, was to take down Pablo. Because of course, Pablo being number one, that creates a lot of jealousy, a lot of enemies that wants to be number one. So the DEA took full advantage of that, or per se, the DEA, which is these agents. The whole agency didn't know because they were doing things kind of shady or against regulations and all that type of stuff. But they had to do what they had to do, and they eventually ended up taking down Pablo Escobar, as you guys already know how the story ends for Pablo. But during that time, from Pablo's rise to fall, the show did a really good job of showing his violence, showing his emotional stressors per se. He really loved the family. That was his own family. He didn't love nobody else's family because he'd blow the brains off anybody else's family. But it showed vulnerability. Let me say it like this: the acting, when he had money, you saw that invincibility to Pablo. I'm invincible. I am super coke man. That's what it was like. I'm super coke man. I can just put on my cape and just fly on in and do whatever the hell I want. But see, when he lost the money, Wagner played Pablo so good, because then Pablo was almost likable at that point, because you saw the vulnerability, and he was almost reflecting on what he has done in his life, and was actually regretting it at some points. And at most points, he turned to the pen. He started to turn to the pen. The old Pablo would turn to the gun first, but he started to turn to the pen. Use the pen as the sword to try to get out of it. But the problem is, they weren't hearing none of it. You know, and unfortunately, some aspects he was right. When they rejected his family and they stopped his family from going to Germany to seek refuge, that was wrong. That was dead wrong, and I felt Pablo on that aspect. That was dead wrong. Stopping his family from leaving, you know, just trying to be safe when they technically had nothing really to do with it, or technically the wife did technically have something to do with it, because she's like the woman in the air. She has a lot of power and control, but you know, they shouldn't have stopped her, and that kind of ticked him off as well. Like, damn, I'm trying to use the pen instead of the gun, and you MF is screwing me here. You know what I'm saying? But they wanted him to surrender. He was never going to surrender. He was going out in a blaze of glory in this, and wasn't really a blaze of glory. He kind of got caught in his flip-flops and tank top on top of a shingled roof. But you know, it is what it is. But I felt him at that aspect. And right when you were kind of feeling like, man, that was screwed up what they did to him and his family, he blows up the building and kills innocent children. And so now it's like, come on, man. But those are the type of mistakes which got Pablo all messed up. And it was just bad, man. It was horrible. It was horrible. But it was horrible, but it was good to see it portrayed without any dilution in this series. Shout out to Netflix for not diluting this series. It was well shot. The atmosphere was beautiful. Of course, it's Colombia. There were a lot of beautiful women in it. Of course, it's Colombia. So you have all the makings of a great series, man. You have drugs, sex, women, violence. It's up there, man. It's up there, one of my most favorite gangster series, movies, whatever you want to call it, that I haven't watched in a long time. I thought it was very well shot. The acting was good. The cinematography was good. The gunplay in it was good. It wasn't like unnecessary gunplay. It was necessary gunplay. You know, it's drug gunplay. You know, but that's all I gotta say about this, man. Go check it out. This is not for everybody. Definitely not for everybody. If you have a low tolerance for violence, and excessive violence, and don't watch the show, because it really is violent. But that's the way it's supposed to be. So check it out. Tell me what you think in the comments. Peace. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. And I will see you on the next video. Definitely buy this one. Peace.